Famous for its opulent Thanksgiving Day parade, its flagship stores that decorated cityscapes, and its status as an essential cultural marker for shoppers all over the country, Macy's remained an iconic representation of American shopping for years. However, this retail behemoth has recently experienced a substantially and publicly reported downturn that concerns many people about its future. In this video, we will look into the fascinating story of Macy's, a once vibrant retail giant struggling to adapt to the gusts of shifts within the retail sector. We will explore the causes of its demise and identify key turning points that altered the department store industry. What caused Macy's to deteriorate? And can it regain its former glory? The U.S. owning corporation for department stores is called Macy's Inc. The first regional department store chains that Federated held were Abraham and Straus, Lazarus, Filene's, and Chilitos. The following year, Federated Department Stores acquired Bloomingdale's. A Manhattan citizen named Roland Hussey Macy opened a dry goods company that bears his name. Early on, the store's first day of business saw a meager sales of $11. Nevertheless, it had considerable development within a year, exceeding $85,000 in revenue, and its achievement kept growing. Several relatives joined the company, yet when the turn of the century ended, Lazarus Strauss and the rest of his family took over management, ending any Macy brand tie. The accomplishment of Macy's in its first century resulted from several strategic factors, including their pricing strategies, which included the use of psychological pricing techniques, such as selling goods at $1.99 instead of $2 to promote the feeling of increased value. Even in an era when it was uncommon, Macy's had an exceptional accepting cash-only policy that guaranteed they earned the total amount of $1.99 from each transaction. During the 1920s, they had become so fiercely competitive that they recruited individuals to gather information on the prices of competing stores and then adjusted their own. Macy's moved to their new central location on 34th Street in 1902, which featured contemporary amenities including escalators. Its status as a popular tourist destination was cemented in 1924 when an extension made it the largest emporium in the world, a title it has maintained ever since. Additionally, Macy's was well known for its innovative marketing techniques, particularly during the holiday season when they predominantly displayed their recognizable store figure of Santa Claus and solidly established themselves as forerunners in this joyous custom. During the 1920s, Macy's initiated the sponsorship of New York City's Thanksgiving Day Parade, now famously recognized as the Macy's Day Parade. This sponsorship offered them substantial visibility as the holiday shopping season kicked off. Macy's began buying local retail chains to enter new markets during this period. The acquisition of Bam Burgers in New Jersey, which after that became one of their most significant and profitable business divisions, is a remarkable example of this development. By the 1950s, Macy's had risen to prominence as the largest department store chain in the United States, but their expansion had started to plateau. They adopted a more cautious approach and established themselves in a well-established position within American retail. In the late 1970s, Macy's witnessed a change in leadership, and the new team implemented some bold and successful strategies. This period of rejuvenation and success was celebrated as the Macy's Miracle. During this transformation, Macy's undertook a store revitalization effort, emphasizing enhancing profitable departments while eliminating less financially viable ones. Additionally, they transformed their basement into The Cellar, a specialized shopping establishment with eateries, food products, kitchenware, and culinary demos. This novel idea drew a sizable number of clients. New York's rules were changed in 1976 to allow retailers to open their doors on weekends, a significant shopping day. This change paid off for Macy's since a sizable percentage of their Sunday shoppers were women who bought while their partners watched sports. This additional day of operation significantly boosted their sales. As they entered the 1980s, Macy's was enjoying a period of robust growth, with a more significant number of shoppers than ever before choosing to patronize the store. To sustain this momentum, Macy's made substantial investments in their operations. These actions included boosting the amount of stock to satisfy customer demand, spending more on advertising to reach a wider audience, improving customer service, and broadening their selection of private label goods. They also entered emerging markets by launching shops throughout the southern part of the nation, with a significant one debuting in Texas in 1985. It appears to be a logical and sound strategy, reinvesting in your business to pursue further growth and expansion. Surprisingly, this seemingly sensible plan had such detrimental consequences that Macy's filed for bankruptcy in 1992. Let me draw the connections for you. The US economy experienced a significant slowdown, resulting in people having less disposable income to spend, not just at Macy's but at various other places. The timing couldn't have been worse for Macy's, as the economic downturn affected the entire retail industry. What made it even more challenging for Macy's was that they had recently increased their expenses significantly and continued to do so, with the expectation that consumer spending would rebound swiftly. Unfortunately, the anticipated increase in consumer spending didn't materialize as expected, and the additional expenses Macy's had incurred did not lead to the extra revenue they had hoped for. Consequently, their profits began to decline. The situation took a dire turn when the declining gains prompted 300 Macy's executives to join forces and execute a $3.7 billion leverage buyout, effectively removing the company from the stock market. This move substantially increased the debt on Macy's balance sheet. The executives cited the need for Macy's to regroup as the reason for the buyout, emphasizing that going private would liberate them from the immediate pressures of the stock markets. It's also important to point out that Macy's stock price had significantly dropped, which left it potentially exposed to a hostile acquisition which may have influenced the decision. The buyout was mainly done as a precautionary measure to protect from the possibility of an aggressive acquisition. With Macy's being currently heavily in bankruptcy, this is when things started to become bad. In 1988, Macy's considered acquiring two California-based retail chains for over $1 billion, further compounding their debt burden. It's not surprising anymore when we mention that Macy's filed for bankruptcy in 1992 with a staggering $5.3 billion in liabilities, given their challenging financial situation. This is where the problem became exceptionally complicated. Through the bankruptcy court, Macy's was acquired by Federated Department Stores. The most notable retail business held by Federated Department Stores was Bloomingdale's. Combining these two businesses created the nation's most potent shopping center empire. In many ways, the merger between Macy's and Federated Department Stores seemed inevitable given the circumstances. Department stores were grappling with competition against fast-expanding discount retailers like Walmart. The merger was seen as a means to achieve cost savings through economies of scale to improve their competitiveness in this evolving retail landscape. Federated department stores continued to expand through acquisitions, with notable examples including the purchase of Broadway stores on the West Coast in 1995 for $1.6 billion and the addition of May department stores in an $11 billion deal in 2005. These transactions featured several retail chains, and although a few of them were sold again, a sizable fraction were converted into Macy's locations. Macy's is a well-established and highly recognizable brand, so it was a sensible decision to position it as the firm's focal point. In 2007, Federated Department Stores changed the company's name to Macy's, underscoring the central role of Macy's brand in their business. That does seem like a rather unusual or unconventional journey, doesn't it? Currently, Macy's stores are run mainly by a business called Macy's Incorporated. To return to its current position, though, it had to file for bankruptcy and make some purchases over 10 years. As of today, 160 Bluemercury stores and about 50 Bloomingdale stores are still under Macy's Incorporated control. The last one is a retailer of high-end cosmetics that Macy's purchased in 2015. Since then, it has grown by twofold. Both of those chains, Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury, appear relatively stable. However, the Macy's brand has adversely affected the company's overall performance. Given that a sizable portion of customers have switched to internet shops or bargain stores, it is clear that department stores could be doing better. Despite the $24 billion revenue decline, Macy's is still the biggest department store chain in the nation. The difficulties stem from the fact that many of their stores are situated inside malls, which have recently experienced a decline in visitor numbers. The impact of online shopping is significant. To respond strategically, Macy's has decided to slowly close those failing mall-based stores and concentrate on constructing more compact independent shops. The history of Macy's is evidence of how the retail sector is constantly changing. Although it has encountered challenges, Macy's is still an enduring emblem of American retail. Although it is still to be determined if Macy's can recapture its previous splendor, its reputation as a retail behemoth will continue influencing American shopping culture for many years. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can stay updated with more insightful content.